Hello all, welcome to the tutorial on RAG. So in this tutorial we will learn about the RAG, what is RAG, overview of RAG, then we will implement this RAG on the OpenAI Azure. We'll see that how the setup is done. How we can upload the data on the Azure, then deploy onto the AI model. We'll see that how we can create an index with Azure AI search, then develop and configure the application, and finally we'll run our application using the API. So RAG is retrieval augmented generation system. So RAG is a method that combines a retrieval mechanism with a generative language model to enhance the accuracy and relevance of AI generated responses. So in this project, we will learn how to integrate Azure OpenAI into a Python based application, then retrieve the relevant documents or data using a vector database, enhance the generative AI output by combining retrieved data with model generated responses. So when a user asks query, then it combines. So let me just show you one diagram. So it will help you to understand much better. So here if you see in this diagram, there is a user and there is a OpenAI. So when a user asks query, then it combines the system with system prompt. Then retrieved information is sent to LLM to provide the required response. So here system prompt define how language model behave. To build RAG, we combine user question with system prompt and then send it to the vector database to find more relevant information. Once relevant context is retrieved, then both prompt and information is sent to LLM, which then generate final response to the user. So this is the basic diagram that how the RAG works. Now let's understand better with an example. Suppose we develop a travel recommendation and data is available in Azure Blob storage. With system prompts, LLM will react the travel with travel information and respond with answer. So let's go to the Azure and build our setup. So in order to go to the Azure, let's open the browser. So on this browser, we will type google.com. So let the Google open. So here we'll type the Azure portal. So now we'll go to the Azure portal. And we'll go for try Azure for free. So let it be open. Let me just sign out. Or let me just try. Let me try here. So let me just open the Azure portal. Let me just first open the Google. Then I'll type here as Azure. Then Microsoft Azure. Try Azure for free. Send code. So let me just go to the Gmail and will go to my account. So here is the code 733506. Skip for now. Using my existing subscription. So here my Azure account open. Now first we'll set up the resource. So for this, we'll create a resource group. Create a resource, or you can go to the home and resource group. So in this resource group, we'll create one resource group, and let me just give the name as RG underscore rag 303. Then review create, and create. So here the resource group is being created. Go to the resource group. So here the resource group is created. Now let me just create the resources. Create, and here I can search for Azure OpenAI. I can select the Azure OpenAI and will create. So here I will select the region as East US2. So name I can give as RG. OpenAI Rack 303. Price as standard. Then we'll go down next, next, then next. As tags are not required, so we'll go for next and then create. So if we can see the progress, so deployment is in progress. So currently it is deploying. So the deployment is succeeded. Now I'll go to the home, we'll go to the resource group, and we'll select the one of the, let's create the new service, Azure AI search. So here I can select the Azure AI search. I can select the Azure AI search, create, and let me just give the name as RG AI search 303 is Central US 2, East US 2. Changing price tier. So this is for testing purpose. So I'm just selecting as free. But based on your requirement, you can update the pricing tier. So let me just select this. Let me just close here this one as well. And next scale. So no changes required. Review and create. So here we can see the progress. So deployment is in progress. Now here we can see that the deployment succeeded. We can close this, can go to home, can go to resource group, and we'll create the another service. Let me see that whether all services are here. Let me try to refresh this. So yes, we can see now OpenAI RAG and RAG AI search, which we just created. Now create the another service like Azure storage account. So here, let me just go with the storage account, create. So let me just give the storage name as RAG storage ACT 303. Primary service. So let me just select as a blob storage Gen 2, then standard. As I don't need the GRS, so GRS that is used for the geo redundancy purpose in case if you have a large setup and you need the failover. But here this is the uh, small setup, so I can go with the LRS, local redundancy storage. Then I can go do the next. So here in the advanced, so I'll enable this, enabling the hierarchical namespace. So rest of the options are fine. So let me just go through next. So network is fine, enable public access from all networks. Next, data protection. Next, encryption, no changes required. Tags, and finally review and create. So this is how we are creating the storage account. Now it will take some time in deployment. So let me just create. So here we can see the deployment is in progress. So let the storage account to be created. So here the storage account created successfully. Then let's close this and let's go to the resource group. So this is resource group. So here we can see that the three services are created: OpenAI RAG, RAG AI Search, and RAG Storage Account. Now let me just go to the OpenAI RAG, and we'll try to store this key and endpoint, which will be helpful in accessing this RAG from the API. So let me just copy this and let me just paste here. So key input Azure. So let me just add it here. OpenAI key. So this is some old input. So I'll just update this. So let me just clear out all this, which I used for the another setup. So let me just clean this. Okay, so one by one, I will just try to update this. So let me just clean this as well, so that you will get a clear idea that what all the inputs are required. So I copied the keys. So if I show keys, so if I paste here, endpoint, so I can copy the endpoint from here and I will paste it here. Okay, then location is East US2, that remains the same. Now let me just go back to home, and let me just go to the RAG AI search. And from RAG AI search, we'll go to the keys. So we can find the keys in the settings, keys, and we'll try to copy this, copy primary keys. So after that, we'll copy the endpoint URL. So in order to copy the endpoint URL, I can go to the overview. So this is the endpoint URL. So I'll copy this and I'll paste here. So this is the RAG AI search. So RAG AI search part is done. After then, I will go to the storage account, home, RAG, storage account. So here I'll go to the access keys. So let me just copy this. So don't worry. So this I'll delete this account post the deployment. Copy this, and I'll use the storage account key as here. Connection string. So I'll copy this. I'll update this connection string here. So this is all done. Okay, so now I need to update the blob storage. So with my documents. So for document reference, I'll share you one URL. So you can download the URLs from there. So let me just type it here. HTTPS aka ms on data browsers. So this is the browsers files is there. So you can download this and keep it in storage, store it in your C drive. So I have stored it. So let me just quickly show you. So let me just go to the C drive. OpenAI RAG, and this is the browser which is downloaded. So here we have the documents. Okay, so now let me just go back to the my Azure setup, RAG, and after then I will go to the to upload this the Blob. But before this, let me just update the configuration. So I'll go to the settings and will update the configuration. So I'll update this key access enabled, allow blob animals access. Okay, so this is enabled, and then no other action is required. So we can move forward. So we can save this configuration. So configuration is updating. So successfully configuration is updated. Now we can go to the storage browser. Then select for the blob container. We can add the container. So here we can add the new container. So as our use cases with respect to the travel data. So let's give the name as travel data. Then primary access as blob. Then create. Now we can select the travel data and upload. Here I can browse the files which I downloaded. So let me just go here to the C drive, Azure RAG, brochures. So this is the data files that I am uploading it to the blob container. Then I will click on the upload. So here the PDF started uploading. So here you can see that in the blob storage, we can see now the 6 files which are currently available now. Now we'll go to back to the our resource group, and then we'll start deploying the model. So in order to deploy the model, LLM model, so I'll click on the OpenAI RAG 303. We'll go to the Azure AI Foundry portal. Then I'll go to the deployments. In the deployment, I will select this deploy model, and here I'll select the deploy base model. So in the deploy base model, I'll select for the text embedding ADA002. So this model will help in converting the words into numerical representation. So I'll confirm it. So here I'll use the standard one. So with the standard one, that is reduce the number of token limit. So as per the use case, so this token limit is sufficient, and I'll deploy it. So here it is deployed. Now I'll select the another model. So I'll go to the deployment, and I'll select for the GPT-3.5. So I'll go with GPT-3.5 Turbo. I'll confirm this. So this will actually help This LLM model will help in converting the numerical sequences into the word and will represent the data onto the chat. So here so I'll just update the capacity so I can customize the same and will reduce the capacity to the 50 is sufficient or 60 is fine. Then I'll deploy this model. So here the model is deployed, and I'll copy this deployment model name GPT-3.5 Turbo and we'll go and we'll save here Azure AI deployment. Once the LLM model deployed, then I will go to the Azure AI search, RAG AI search. Now I'll perform a vectorization of data. So in order to perform the vectorization of data, I'll click on the import and vectorize data. Then I'll select the Azure data lake. Then we'll select the RAG. So here in the RAG, I'll select RAG storage account. So for Blob container, I'll select the travel data. For Blob folder not required. Then I'll select the enable delete tracking, that is also not required. We can leave it. Can do next. So once move to the next section, that is the vectorize your text. So here I'll select the model. So this is the model that I deployed, text embedding. I acknowledge it and next. Then no need to select this tick. I can do next. Then this is fine. I can do next. OpenAI RAG, and this is finally I can create. So the RAG AI search vectorization is created. So it will help in searching the data. So if I'll click on the start searching. So in order to test that whether the vectorization is successfully deployed, so you can test it by by searching it here, a dot star. If you see this output, then it means that the uh, vectorization is successfully deployed. So here you can see the data. If you don't see any output over here, in that case you need to again go to the RAG AI search and perform the vectorization of data again. So I'll go back, RAG AI search. I'll go to the indexes and will copy this index name and will paste over here, Azure search index. So my all inputs have been collected. Now the next step, I'll go to the Azure. I'll go to the my resource group. So my all resource groups are, all the services are created. So everything is done. So now I'll go to my API and will update the collected inputs into the input of environment file. So here this is the environment file. So let me first clean this environment file. So this is some old content which is present. So here I can give the Azure OAI endpoint. So in the Azure AI endpoint, here I will go and will copy this Azure AI endpoint and we'll go to the environment file and we'll paste it. Azure OAI keys. So this is the Azure OAI keys. So I'll go here, copy this and we'll paste here. Then Azure OAI deployment. Then I will go here with the deployment. So this is the Azure OAI deployment. So I'll copy this and we'll paste here. Then we'll go for the Azure search endpoint. So I'll go here and we'll copy the search endpoint. So this is the search endpoint. Copy this and paste here. We'll Azure search key. So I'll go here and we'll go for the Azure search key. So this is the Azure search key. So I'll copy this and paste in the environment file. And then the Azure search index. So I'll go here and look for the Azure search index. So this is the search index. I'll copy this and paste it. So here all the inputs I have updated in the environment file. Now I'll go to the my application. Now with the interest of time, I have already written this code and present here. So this code is already present. So here if you see that, sorry. So here if you will see that I have imported the OS, imported JSON for to import the JSON related input file, import OS so that I can execute the OS related commands within this API. From .environment import load.env. So I'm using the environment file so that my all the keys should not be visible here in the main code. So this is the ideal way of writing a code, that when you are writing a code for any of the client, then your key should not be present in the main API. Otherwise, anyone can access your API and can misuse it. Then I have written one function, main function. Here I use the try. So I put one keyword like show citation equal to false. So here I given the input which is collecting from the environment file. Then initialize the Azure AI client. So here the Azure OpenAI client is there and I have passed this input like base URL, API key and the API version. So all these inputs are coming from which I already declared over here. Now I'll go down, get text input. So it will ask that enter your question. Then extension config. So here it will ask for the config, which I am already passing it from the environment file. Then I'll go down, then it is printing. So here it is printing the sending the following request to the Azure OpenAI. And finally this done, then response. In this variable I am setting the OpenAI deployment. So here I defined the model. So I'm using the model OA deployment. So that is something with GPT-3.5, which I used. After then the temperature. So temperature will help in getting the output data, that how much relevant data you require. So based on this, you can define the temperature. Now if I'll go down, then the maximum token. So this is the 1000 I have defined. Then message I have defined as role and extra body extension, then print, and a small if condition I have put. So based on this condition, it will print the title and output. Now without wasting time, let me just go to the my code and we'll just execute this Python script. So in order to execute the Python script, so you must have the Python library installed in your machine, and then I can just simply type Python. So here my application ./app.py. So once I will enter this, so it will ask me to enter a question. So now I'll put a question. Just give me the list of hotels in London. Enter. So now the RAG request will go. So it is showing connection error. So once you get this connection error, so you can go to your environment file and then save this file. So once I updated this input, so the inputs are not saved. So now it is saved. Now let me just go to the again executing this script. Now let me just press this and let me just type question again, list of hotels in London. So enter. Now this request is going to the OpenAI, and based on this, the it traversed to the document using the RAG, and it provided the response. So here I got this response from the document. So there are the list of hotel: Buckingham Hotel, City Hotel, Kensington Hotel. So this is how you can collect the input from the documents using the RAG. So now let's say that if I want some more detail related to the hotel, so I can write the another prompt. Give me more information related. Let me just copy this, the Buckingham Hotel, and enter. So now again the request will go to the OpenAI LLM, and it will traverse the document and it will provide the response. A Buckingham Hotel in London, so offered by Margit Travel, is a comfortable hotel located near major sites like Buckingham Place, Regent Park, and Trafalgar Square. So this is the complete detail it has given. So perfect. So our code is working fine. So our the RAG deployment is done on the OpenAI Azure, and we are able to access the document using the API. So thanks for joining this tutorial. Thank you.